Dear Jewel, I left you with a few things to always hold on to. Loyalty, elusiveness, and brute force.
I think the game of the press conference, for all of us, judging by our reaction, was For Honor.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that
So look at
campaign.
single player. From the sounds of it, it sounds like there's 3 single player campaigns.
That was the vibe I got. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't super clear, but they were talking. They described what each campaign would essentially entail.
Yeah.
So yeah, it remains to be seen, I guess, but
Yeah.
it seems very likely that each of the factions will get their own campaign.
Well, what's interesting is that they said that, as the Knights, you join the Blackstone Legions, as the Samurai, you're trying to prevent a civil war. And then when it came to the Vikings, they showed this, which is the Vikings directly attacking
The
the
samurai.
thing. So I'd be interested to see, if you did play all 3 campaigns, how much overlap and interaction there is.
Yeah, if it would intertwine in some way, that'd be really cool. I'm also hoping that it's kind of story-driven, or there's a little more substance to it, and it's not just, preparing you for the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of developers seem to be doing that kind of thing now. Like Siege is another Ubisoft game that they had these sort of single-player missions, but really they were just kind of teaching you the mechanics so you could jump into multiplayer, and they were fun, but it wasn't really a true campaign. So I'm kind of hoping For Honor really goes for it and does a robust, complete, story-driven campaign.
It looks stunning as well, and
Yeah.
the combat seems to flow really well. And like we were discussing earlier, it looks like there is a lot of nuance and strategy to the moment-to-moment gameplay and combat.
There was a lot of contextual combat as well. Like
Yeah.
people being
Yes.
thrown off at the top, people being thrown
into the spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be quite interested to see how the combat differs between each faction.
Yeah.
Like the vibe we got from the Vikings is that they're big heavy hitters. There was a lot of weight behind all their moves. I'd assume that the Samurai are a bit more fluid,
Yeah.
a bit more agile. Maybe the Knights are somewhere in between. But not only could there be 3 different stories, but it'd be like 3 different ways to play as well.
Yeah, which would be very exciting. And also, a lot of the comparisons online were saying it looks a lot like Rise, Son of Rome. I'm definitely getting that vibe, but I don't know. There's something more about this game. It looks more interesting to me than...
When you look at the story mode, it kind of feels, in terms of the scope and the set pieces, almost God of War-ish.
Yes.
And then when you're in the big battles, it's almost Dynasty Warriors-ish. Like you're just kind of like rushing through this area, thinning out the hordes of enemies to get to this one point where a special type is there, so you can wipe them out and move on. It looks like it's drawing from a lot of these games, and it's just the level of polish that we're already seeing is really, really exciting. And it looks like they've figured out how they want combat to work, and they seem to have made it look fluid and interesting. So yeah, I'm really excited. I think it was probably the game of the showing.
Yeah, for sure.